Hello and welcome back to my channel and welcome to pretty much just a traditional favorites video. I put a shirt on for you, like a real shirt. I put a bra on, but I did not change my pants. These are my pajama pants. I hope you don't mind. I did do my hair though and my makeup, obviously. I literally just want to talk about some stuff that I loved, like throughout the month of January and just like in general, like some of the stuff that I really like lately. So the thing that I wanted to start with, I have a bunch of stuff on my table here and I'm a little butthurt because the way my camera's set up you can't actually see the table, but I did put a tablecloth down and everything. I wanted to talk about Tubi because, okay, this is gonna sound sponsored, but I promise it's not sponsored. Tubi is my favorite streaming site. Like, I pay for Netflix. I don't ever use it. I pay for Shudder. I don't even use Shudder that often anymore. I use Prime because it comes with when you pay for Prime shipping, which is what I use the most often. Like, literally the only streaming services that I pay for that I use are Discovery Plus, which is $5 a month, and Disney Plus, which I pay for annually. But I watch Tubi constantly, and that is because Tubi has the best selection, first of all, of like TV shows that we love, but like Tubi has the horror movie selection. If you are a horror movie person, Tubi is where it's at. They have all the good ones and the good foreign ones. Now, some of the foreign ones are a little bit extra scary, a little bit extra weird, a little bit extra creepy. There's this girl on TikTok, her name is Chelsea. I can't remember what her ad is, but I'll put it in the description box. She does sort of like, I don't like that she calls them disturbing. I think that's weird, but she does like breakdowns of like lists of like horror movies that you should watch if you like this, or horror movies that like are like this. And they're almost always movies that you can find on Tubi, and I just love it. I think it's so much fun. I use Tubi constantly, and it's funny because I didn't use Tubi for the longest time because they promote it like it's free, you just have to watch some ads sometimes, and I was like, yeah, sure, whatever, like nothing is free, you're gonna make me put in my credit card information and then take all my money. But then my eldest sister was like, no, it's actually free. And so it's true, like, sometimes I even get through, like, 90% of a movie and I don't get a single ad. And then when you get an ad, it is, like, a 15-second spot. The ads on YouTube are way longer. So 100% recommend Tubi. It is actually free. I'm pretty sure, Sailor Moon is on there, so if you want to watch Sailor Moon, like, it's there. A lot of the sort of shows from the 90s are there, a lot of movies and that sort of thing. And, like, the thing is, I understand that, like, some of these other places, the Netflixes, that sort of thing, are trying to create their own content so that they can make complete money on their own and not have to worry about licensing and all that. But like I don't like watching new things. I often want to watch things I've already seen, and that's where Tubi is the place to be. And then when I do want to watch new things, they have all the scary movies I want to watch, so that's where I go. So if you're wondering what I'm doing when I'm sitting here 100% of my life by myself watching things, it's probably watching scary movies on Tubi, and I'm having so much fun doing it. But when I'm not watching scary movies, what am I doing? Watching Ghibli movies, okay? And lately my Ghibli shit has been Nausicaa. I just go through Ghibli phases, I think. Like, if you recall last year when I got injured, I watched Princess Mononoke on loop. And then, like, I was already down with Nausicaa. I liked it, and I watched it a couple of times during that time as well. But then, honestly, I asked for Totoro for Christmas on DVD, but my sister couldn't find it, so she got me Nausicaa. And I just watch it constantly. I watch Nausicaa probably at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. And, like, I think I just love the message of, like, being good with the earth. And, like, obviously I'm not telling you that I'm perfect at any of these things at all. But I love the message of, like, being careful and polluting. And, like, not polluting, I guess. And then the Ohm are pretty much just elephant-sized isopods. And I love isopods. And I love that about, like, there's just so many elements of the soundtrack is incredible, and I do watch it in Japanese. This one I don't watch in English. Some of them I go back and forth, like Totoro I go back and forth, Spirited Away I go back and forth. Arrietty I almost exclusively watch in the American English version. There's an American English and British English. The British English one is Tom Holland and Saoirse Ronan, whereas the American English one is Bridget Mendler and David Henry, like from the Disney Channel, so I just love it. And I don't know, but like this one, I don't know, Shia LaBeouf, if you watch the English one, is the voice of the boy in this, and I just can't get over it. It's Shia LaBeouf. Well, so, Japanese for me on this one. But if you haven't seen Nausicaa, highly recommend. Such a good Ghibli movie. We have no choice but to stand. I was going to shout out 2 makeup products in this video, but I forgot to bring one over here. So one of them is the MAC Studio Fix concealer. It is the concealer I'm wearing under my eyes. If you watched my Get Ready for with me for no reason or whatever I called it last week. That's the concealer I wear in that video. I should make it its own Tuesday review because that is a phenomenal concealer. It is one of the only concealers I've ever found that like looks good with no other makeup on my face. Like if I'm not wearing foundation and that sort of thing, it blends into my skin easy. It brightens up my under eyes but doesn't look cakey, and I don't even have to set it with powder, so that's phenomenal. But then another product I've been wearing a lot lately, I'm ironically not wearing it right now, but the Maybelline 24-hour Superstay lipstick. Like this reminds me of my mom. Like when I was a kid, she used to wear these all the time. She doesn't wear them as much anymore, but I always imagined they were like super dry, and I think back then they probably were, but now the formulas are updated and they're really nice. Now, I can only speak for this shade, which I think is called Keep Up the Flame. I think it's called Keep Up the Flame, number 025. It's this matte red. I think I wore it a couple of videos ago. I've been wearing it all the time lately. But I know that they have a couple of different formulas and finishes, and I can't say that those are all comfortable. Like, I don't know. But this one is really nice. But the thing is, like, in order for it to be comfortable and wear nicely, like, you have to prep your lips and apply it properly. So, like, I use my lip balm, the Laneige Glowy Lip Balm. I really cake that lip balm on my lips, and then I do my whole face of makeup, and then at the end I wipe the lip balm off so there's just like the residual on my lips, and then I put this on. If you read the instructions on the box when you get this, it says like after you put the red on, like don't touch your lips together and let them dry for 2 minutes. So I set the timer on my phone and I sit there like for 2 minutes, and then I put the balm side on, and that is when it looks great and lasts all night. And it looks, I just really like having a lipstick that doesn't go anywhere, doesn't fade, and I can like drink beverages through and it'll be okay. So that's what I really like about this, especially when I'm like, I try to schedule in my week so that anything I have to leave the house for, I just leave the house and do a bunch of things in one day so that I'm not leaving the house multiple times throughout the week. So I usually wear this red lipstick when I'm doing that, so that I know from the time I leave to the time I eat, it'll look nice and I'll be okay. So I really love this. Something else I picked up this month that I have fallen in love with are my microfiber gloves. So these are awesome. I use these to clean off plants. Now I don't exclusively use these, I do still use paper towel, but like my mom has a Christmas cactus, Thanksgiving cactus, I can't tell the difference between the two, and she asked me to dust it the other day, and it is like, it's got all of these fronds. Okay, so many fronds. And basically I put the little gloves on and I just like went to town. You pick out all the pieces, you rub it. I sprayed the Bios Yucca spray that I made on it, and it just really gets all the dust and all the dirt off. Like, I don't know how I feel about using these on like surfaces to like dust things in your home. I feel like that might be a little weird, but I really like these microfiber gloves to clean off plants. I bought them at Canadian Tire. Now, of course, you have to worry maybe a little bit about, like, transferring things. If you're having a pest problem, this is probably not the best idea. But for me, thank the gods, I don't have a pest problem yet. And I haven't had one yet. I hope this is not the year. But I'm just kind of dusting my plants. And so, particularly Lucinda, my, like, spirally Dracaena. She used to be back there, but I moved her to my desk. She has so many leaves. And cleaning her individually was taking forever, so now I just put the gloves on and just like grab pieces. Makes it much easier. You should be proud of me because I've been sticking with my goal of using things this year and not just like hoarding my stuff. So this notebook, this little book of spells notebook that I bought from Claire's multiple Halloweens ago, I've just been hoarding it, and now it is the notebook that I leave in my purse. It is the notebook that I take with me when I go on assignments for work. It's the notebook that I think I have like a shopping list or two in the front here. Yeah, I do. See, here's the things I want to get at Michael's, things I want to get at Canadian Tire and Walmart. Like, I just make notes in here, and it stays in my purse. This is not the pen that came with it. The pen that came with it was ugly, so I got rid of it. But this is a different pen, but you should be proud of me. I have a notebook, and I'm using it. I have a couple other little notebooks that say, like, spell things on them that I guess we'll use when this one runs out, but this is the one for now, and it's, like, really casting rainbows in the camera, and it looks really pretty. Next up, I want to show you a cat thing, because Lena, she's very picky with toys. When she was younger, she was really easy to play with. I had a fishing rod toy, and she would just go nuts. I would get her running around the house. She would, like, roll around. She would jump in the air. She was great, but now that she's older, she's a little pickier. And it turns out she loves springs. So this pack of springs is literally from Dollarama, and I have a bunch of these packs now. And what happens is sometimes Lena, she gets this look, and her eyes are like dinner saucers. Like her pupils are massive, and she's just looking at me and her tail is twitching. And so what I do is I pull out a spring and I just throw it on the ground, and she chases it and then runs down the hallway and back and forth and then runs back at it. She just starts ping-ponging around the house, and all I did was throw a spring. And then when she kind of slows down and catches her breath, you know what we do? We pick up the spring again, we wait till we got her attention, and then we throw it, and then she restarts. And she's getting a little bit older now, and I just feel like this is a great way to, like, have her get her energy out. And I feel like every cat is going to have a different specific toy that, like, sets them off and that they love. And Lena's are springs, and fortunately they're from Dollarama. So if you are able to find that for your cat, Godspeed, because it's awesome. And I still play with her with some fishing rod toys sometimes, but she doesn't get as interested as she used to. She's not as captivated by the fishing rod toy. Whereas the springs, and the key to the springs is don't leave them out, right? Like, I throw it on the floor. Once she eventually, like, loses interest, she doesn't want to play anymore, I pick it up and I put it back in my desk. The extra packs are just for when I eventually lose them, but by not leaving it out, she doesn't get, like, used to it, then it only comes out at playtime, and I think that probably really helps a lot. We're still trying to kind of figure out what's up with Lena, because she's really kind of hitting that. She's getting older, and she's changing her likes and her dislikes, and some nights she just won't touch her dinner, and some nights she eats it like she's never eaten before, and she used to just solidly be a good eater. So, we're figuring it out, but we'll get there. And then the last thing I want to show you, I am so excited about, it is a plant. And it is this plant right here. This is a Philodendron Florida Green. I bought this at Canadian Tire for $5.99, and it was in a smaller pot than this, but it had roots crazy coming out the bottom. So this nursery pot was the only nursery pot I had that was one size bigger, and it's all cracked because I dropped it on the floor with the previous plant it had in it. So that's why it's in this cover pot to kind of hold it together. But this plant, I just think it's so pretty. It now sits above my desk so that I can look at it all day. Look at the leaf shape. And I've seen on the internet like different other versions of this plant. I've seen the Florida Beauty, the Florida Ghost, and they're like all variegated in various ways. But I just think this regular Florida Green is cool. It's got these big leaves with these cool shape. $5.99. Beautiful. I made sure I did whatever I could to sort of sanitize it before it went on my desk in case it touches another plant. But honestly, it's the spot it's at on my desk. It's kind of away from most other plants, so it's not gonna. If it infects my string of pearls, that's fine. But I repotted it almost immediately with my own soil. Took the old soil out and then gave it a good bath in my neem oil. So it shouldn't have anything in it anyway. But $5.99. I have so many plants that were more than that and aren't as spectacular to me as this Florida Green. And even my High Constellation, which is back here, that is my most expensive plant. If you don't know, she was $100. It kills me that I spent that on a plant. But it is what it is. I still can't believe I spent $100 on one plant, but it's fine. But this is why I like common plants, because they're cheap, and if you mess them up, it's okay. So that's why I've got a whole room full of not particularly expensive plants. And that's probably what we're going to keep doing. Although I am interested in the anthurium realm. I only have one anthurium. There's a couple of other ones that I think are cool because they get the light veination and then the darker green around. I just think it's pretty. But that's, I guess, a story for another day, or a purchase for another day, depending on how you look at it. Anyway, what have you loved in the month of January? I would love to hear what you've been up to. What have you been watching? What have you been reading? Or buying or cleaning? I don't know. What are you up to? I'd love to hear more about you and what's going on with you. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe if you have not subscribed already. And I will see you next time.